Hello, 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 good people. Hello, good people. I am Dr. Hollie Kelly, and this is Dr. Kelly's perspective for May 2nd. This is Thoughtful Thursday. Thoughtful Thursday. Okay, so let me go on and get started because as I was thinking through how I wanted to describe this book, I'm not trying to make this into no dissertation, but I got a lot to say about this one. Okay, so this week's Thoughtful Thursday selection is The Short and Tragic Life of Robert Peace. The Short and Tragic Life of Robert Peace. And his roommate, Jeff Hobbs, Hobbs, wrote this. So thank you for all who are joining me. Good evening, good morning. Hello, 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 all. Okay, so let me tell you why I chose this book. Again, The Short and Tragic Life of Robert Peace. It's a not a biog. Well, yeah, it's a piece about a real person. And Jeff Hobbs, who is the author, is Rob Peace's college roommate. This is a story about poverty, about inner city neglect, about one theme that I really picked up and let me read my notes because I made notes this time. I don't typically do perspectives from notes, but I made notes. Okay, so this was a theme that ran through here a lot. Please don't I almost let the title throw me off because I don't do things that depress me. I try to stay away from them because I know me and I don't like feeling down for very long. But do not let this title throw you off. The Short and Tragic Life of Robert Peace. So yes, about poverty. Yes, about the power of education, inner city neglect. But this is a theme that I saw that ran through here a lot. Strong mothers. And Robert Peace was a young African-American man. Jeff Hobbs, his roommate from Yale, a white roommate. So I know that this theme runs very strongly in the African-American community. When you have very strong single mothers of young Black men, sometimes, and this was evident in here to me. Now, this is Dr. Hollie Kelly's take on it. There are I wrote down unknowing traps that mothers sometimes lay for their sons when there's such love and such tight bonds. Sometimes sons take on a role that they feel they have to protect and support and envelop their moms, and they don't leave. They don't go on to do things that they could do. Sometimes they don't. So I saw that running through here a lot. Also, classism. Oh, this was a very, very strong, powerful theme. How powerful the role of environment is in our lives. How powerful. Sometimes power can be strong and inviting and uplifting and encouraging, and other times an environment can be a stranglehold and a death trap for us. Am I doing the raccoon thing again? Okay, sometimes it can be a death trap for us. So Rob Peace grew up in Newark, New Jersey. He grew up in Newark and in poverty, financial poverty, but rich in love from his mom and his family. And his dad was a tremendous influence in his life. And when I say brilliant, I mean absolutely brilliant. Both he and his dad. His mom, no slug either, but even she credits his powerful intellect to his dad. Okay, now this, I can barely spell this word, much less imagine majoring in it. So his mom did everything she could to sacrifice. It's also a book about sacrifice. She sacrificed for him. She scrimped, she saved to send him to a private Catholic school so he could get a good education. even though from the moment he was born, everyone in her life said, you're going to spoil that boy. You're going to spoil that boy. You're giving him everything he wants, and he can't blink, and you don't give it to him. And she just didn't think like that. So he earns a full scholarship to Yale and majors in, you know how some of us start out majoring in science and then we end up in theater arts or something less stressful? Rob Peace majored in neurobiochemistry and neurophysics. Neurobiochemistry and neurophysics. That was his major, and he graduated from Yale with that strong science brain. And yet the pull of talking about choices, this is why I chose this book. I read it a few years ago, but it came back to me because I'm reading another sort of same genre. The power of choices. That is my ultimate theme for this book. The power of the choice that each of us have. Here he was gifted with an absolutely phenomenal mind, had the opportunities to go and flourish and lift himself and his mom and his family out of poverty and out of drug and violence, that type of environment. But the pull of his environment and his decision to remain loyal to his friends and loyal to his family kept pulling him back. He, besides his brilliance, he had an infectious personality. Everyone loved him. Just fell in love with who he was. Is that upside down? Again, this week's choice, The Short and Tragic Life of Robert Peace. This is, okay. Well, Stephanie, this is the one I am reviewing, Dr. Stephanie. I am reading several books at a time, but this is my review for this week, The Short and Tragic Life of Robert Peace. There you go. I did that wrong. Okay. So again, because it's a book about choices, it is a book, for me, that's how I saw it, a book about choices. At one point, he took a job with the airlines just so that he could travel, and he became, a miniature world travel. He chose to go to Brazil at one point and backed up strategic planning in some areas. He learned Portuguese. He started taking Portuguese classes so that he would be more inclined to enjoy the environment when he went there. I already told you, the title tells you that this is not a happy ending and everyone lives in harmony. That's Dr. Stephanie is rushing me. She want to know what else I'm reading. I do Thoughtful Thursdays so that I can give you books that impact my life. I'm reading some other stuff. Dr. Stephanie, you're up on the list. Okay, let me just say that. I have you set for, this is already May. I have you on one of these weeks in May because I have brilliant audience members. Okay. Hello, Pastor Rome. So anyway, The Short and Tragic Life of Robert Peace is one that I would encourage you to check out, especially if this is not your life. Especially if this is not your life, because it gives you insight. There's an author, a Nigerian author, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, who wrote, and she does a TED Talk even on the power of the single story. The power of the single story. Whenever we box ourselves into thinking that what we see is the whole story, we're going to miss an entire life, an entire history, an entire family generated. We miss too much when we look at one snapshot of a life and either curse or exalt based off of a snapshot. So that's another author for you. Phenomenal author, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. But if we stop at the title, or if we stop at the fact that this young man made choices, even with his brilliant mind, even with the opportunities that were gifted to him, When we make poor choices, natural consequences follow. Natural consequences follow. So that is my book choice for this week, The Short and Tragic Life of Robert Peace. Can y'all see that? I'll do it like that. Okay, I'm doing YouTube and Facebook, so I hope I'm not cutting it off. That's my choice for today, this week. I appreciate you all because I have to stay up on reading. I love to read, but I got to make sure I am staying up on some things. I've got some delicious treats coming up in the very near future for you. Thank you very much. Make this a thoughtful Thursday. And until next time, take real good care of yourselves.